Are we ever going to get this top 5 wide receiver back? Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football Free for All. We're doing our Week 8 injury update. Ooh, it's starting to get nasty out there. I know I said it in Week 7, but holy cow, does it just get worse. So let's start with the Vikings at the Packers. I mean, listen, this is just riddled with running back injuries. All we have are just more and more running back injuries. In this matchup, Aaron Jones is questionable, and so is Dalvin Cook. With Dalvin Cook and Aaron Jones both questionable, what are you going to do? Are you going to roll out Jamal Williams and Alexander Mattison or Mike Boone? Maybe Jamal Williams, but Alexander Mattison and Mike Boone are not starters. Don't fool yourself. Talk to fantasy owners who have held them and played them in their times of need and gotten utterly screwed. Get away. They're not these top elite running backs as you think they are. This is a smokescreen. Get out of there. For the Patriots at Bills. All right. Everybody and their mother is hurt in this game. We've got N'Keal Harry with a concussion, Julian Edelman, both out. Then we have a litany of injuries on both sides of the ball for the Patriots. And on the Bills, I mean, I don't know where they're finding the defensive players, but no wonder the Bills defense is so bad. This doesn't make me excited to start Cam Newton, but because of how decimated the Bills defense is, I think you have to, which is absolutely miserable considering he is at negative points for the last 2 weeks. I mean, that's brutal. Brutal. The Titans-Bengals, I mean, listen, you're starting this game heavy. Joe Burrow has made Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, even A.J. Green, all startable wide receivers. Giovanni Bernard isn't that much of a drop down from Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is going to miss this game. The Titans don't really have any injuries on the offensive side of the ball to note, but we need to watch what the production is. This could easily get out of hand quickly, and it could be a Derrick Henry game all day. So, Derrick Henry owners, happy. Everybody else, ugh. So, let's go on. Raiders at Browns. We really don't have that many injuries other than the marquee one of OBJ. OBJ is out for the season, ACL tear. Other than that, Austin Hooper is out, which is a bummer, but that rises the value of David Njoku. I think that there's a chance that this Browns team is actually better without Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. is a transcendent player. He is 1 in a million. But I think that Baker Mayfield was forcing the ball to him, and that was getting them in compromising situations. I like the Browns to rally and continue to push to be a above 500 team at the end of the year. For the Raiders, Bryan Edwards is questionable. That's about it. I think this team is going to kind of bounce back now that they have their offensive line back from that COVID scare. So let's see what happens. Jets at Chief. I mean, holy cow. 19.5 is the spread between these two teams. The Chiefs have 2 injuries, Mitchell Schwartz and Sammy Watkins. They're both out. The Jets, I mean, Rashad Perryman is out. Jamison Crowder is questionable. Frank Gore is questionable. I guess maybe it's a LaMichael Pirine game, but I think they're going to be down so early that there's no point in trying to move the ball in the run game. This is a game that, unless you're a Chiefs-heavy player, like, I'm not going near. I think this is a game where you're starting both Chiefs running backs. Le'Veon Bell, revenge game. I think he will want to have, Andy Reid's going to want to buy into this revenge narrative and really just run it down their throats. Rams at Dolphins. Tyler Higbee's questionable, and that's pretty much it. The Dolphins have a couple of defensive injuries, but I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game. Steelers at Ravens. All right. Steelers defense is banged up. It is. It's not great. The Ravens have Mark Ingram, who's doubtful, and then they have a couple of other injuries. I think this is going to be a really low-scoring game, with Big Ben already kind of having some diminished productivity and just seeing excellent returns from his wide receivers in that yard after catch. We'll see what happens here. The Chargers at Broncos, the real injuries are all on the Broncos side. We have a lot of questionable designations. Jake Butt, Philip Lindsay, Tim Patrick, they're all questionable. I would anticipate Tim Patrick to suit up and have another nice week. Philip Lindsay, with that concussion, nonlinear injury, I just think that you have to keep him on your bench. I hate Melvin Gordon in this matchup just because I don't buy into the narrative. I think that he is going to struggle against an above-average Chargers defense. Saints at Bears. Michael Thomas is out. Marquez Callaway, out. I mean, what are you to do with this team? Yes, they keep winning, but Michael Thomas was supposed to be our, radiant wide receiver one, and he hasn't played since week 1. You got to throw him in your IR spot, but it's getting brutal. I think it's getting time to see if somebody is going to be able to trade for even close to wide receiver 1 value for him. I think you got to get out of the Mike Thomas business. It just sucks. On the other side of the ball, Allen Robinson is doubtful, which is a huge, huge blow to the Bears. They rely on Allen Robinson more than any team relies on a wide receiver. It is insane. I think that this is going to result in a Saints stomping. Niners at Seahawks. Jeff Wilson is out, and then there's a bunch of defensive injuries. This is the year of defensive injuries for the 49ers. Holy cow. They're going to be having to match up with this high-powered offense, and I think that the Seahawks are going to come out and make a statement. They shouldn't have lost that game against the Cardinals, and they're going to show you why. On the other side of the ball, we've got Carlos Hyde has a hamstring injury. He's doubtful to play. Chris Carson, Travis Homer, they're questionable. And then, you got Shaquille Griffin. You've got all these defensive players, but you're going to see Russ Cook. I mean, don't get too smart here. You're starting your Seahawks wide receivers. You're waiting for a game time decision between Travis Homer and Chris Carson. If Chris Carson is good to go, you're going. They want to get him in. They're being very cautious with him because they think he is the best running back on that team. Cowboys at Eagles. Andy Dalton is doubtful. Get away from this. Get away. Just run. Run from this Cowboys. I'm stuck with CeeDee Lamb in a lot of leagues, and I'm just begging to find another wide receiver on the waiver wire. I think that this Cowboys team is going to just have to be torn down and built up again this year. It's going to have to wait for Dak to come back, wait for Zeke to play with Dak. It's just a slaughter show. Of a team that we have had high expectations for, this is maybe the biggest disappointment I have ever seen. It is truly incredible. The last disappointing team like this was the Eagles from 2011 or 2012, where they were just supposed to be this Chip Kelly juggernaut. That's what I think the Cowboys are. Disappointment all the way around, and I think their coach is on the hot seat, even though it's his first year. I think it's wrong, but they have to fire their defensive coordinator. They have to start fresh. 2020 is not their year. Hit reset, go on. For Eagles, Miles Sanders is out. That sucks. Alshon Jeffrey is out. That sucks. But what that means is Boston Scott, Travis Fulgham. Get both of those guys in your lineup. This is going to be a feast game. Get them. Get them now. Go. I don't care. Some of them are still out there. Go check. This is going to be their week. Finally, Bucks at Giants. Listen, there was another COVID scare. This game is in jeopardy. So watch it closely. We know Chris Godwin is out. We know that this team is Devontae Freeman on the Giants is doubtful. You just need to watch it. This game might not happen this week. Thanks for watching another episode of Fantasy Football Free for All. This was our Week 8 injury coverage. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and throw your fantasy questions either on Twitter or in the comment section below.